Okay, welcome to techniques for restless nights. So this is going to be, techniques that you can use either for getting back to sleep if you've been waking up a lot, or for getting to sleep in the first place. Now, I do want to quickly note that sleep issues are probably, one of the most difficult issues to resolve. Or can be. Let's say they can be easy, but they can also be really challenging because there are a lot of different reasons why you might be having trouble with sleep. Here are my 5 tips for getting back to sleep or helping yourself get to sleep. The very first one for me is always the blowout. This is my go-to. So let's say I get into bed and I'm tossing and turning. That's unusual for me. Usually I go to sleep right away. So that indicates something's off. So if that happens, I get right back out of the bed and I do the blowout. And I'm going to show you the blowout right now. I also have a video of this on my YouTube channel. So here's what you do. You're going to take your hands like this and you're going to swing them up to the sides and take a deep breath in. They come all the way up overhead, and then you're going to swing them down quickly and make the sh sound. So you go sh. It's like you're sending the energy out. And you can do that repeatedly. So I usually will do it about, 5 or 6 times. So again, it's the same thing. And inhale up and sh, send it down. And on the last one, you can inhale up and then come down slowly. Shh. Now there's another version of that. The other version is that when you come up, you come down crossing in front of you, just like this. Shh. Try both versions and see which one works best for you. This is an exercise by Donna Eden of the Eden Method. Her original exercise is you come up and you cross the arms on the way down, which is clearing your field. But that one doesn't work as well for me. My system settles a lot better just coming straight down. I learned that one from another practitioner. It's just a variation on the same thing. What you're doing when you do those is you're releasing excess energy. So the way to tell if you're carrying excess energy is if you are just done, you're spent, you feel like you don't have anything left to give. So let's say somebody you love is right there and they want to talk, and this is someone you would generally be happy to talk to, but you just feel like you can't deal with it. You can't take anything else. You can't talk. You can't engage because it's too much. That's a good sign that you're carrying too much. You're overloaded with energy. So going and sending it out is a really great way to release the excess. It also helps to balance the wood element. That's an exercise that balances wood. Now, a lot of times, if you've been in a crowded environment of any type, you can take on a lot of excess energy just from the environment. So that might be a time that you need to clear some excess. I generally find that if I get out of bed and do that, the blowout, it's also called expelling the venom. If I do that exercise and I do it at least 5 or 6 times, usually I can feel the shift when my body is starting to relax. So that's something to look for. At that point, once I've felt like something is kind of let down, then I can get back into bed. I'm usually asleep within 5 minutes. The next one that I'll do, and sometimes I'll do both of these together, is connecting heaven and earth. This one is also on my YouTube channel. I have a video for this. So what you're going to do for connecting heaven and earth, this is also from Donna Eden. You put your hands on your thighs. Fingers are facing down. You're going to take a nice deep breath in and out. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And you're going to inhale, bring the arms up overhead. And exhale down to the heart. And then we're going to inhale one arm up, the other is down, and looking up. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, both palms to the heart. We do the same thing on the other side. It's a nice stretch when you do this. Really stretching between the hands. And exhale to the heart. I'm going to do it one more time on each side. And then fold forward and hang for 2 breaths. And then you scoop up the energy from the ground, pull it all the way up overhead, and imagine that it's trickling down through your field. And just let the energy settle. You can also hold your hands to the sides like this for some grounding. This is a grounding posture. Sometimes it's that you need to be more grounded. Your system can get very agitated if it's not grounded. The next thing that I'll do if I'm still having an issue, and this, this is something you kind of need to feel into, but if it feels like it's energy and I've got too much energy, then I'll clear the wind points. And there are a few key wind points that I go to. The first one is always going to be the power point at the base of the skull, top of the neck, base of the skull there. It's that indentation. I'll go in counterclockwise circles on the power point as if the clock is on my body facing out. And I usually will do that for a minute or 2. That's pulling energy out. So again, if you've picked up excess energy and it's in your system, especially if you're a practitioner. Now we can go into, that's another presentation. If you're a practitioner and you're picking things up from other people, then there's more to look at. But this is always a good starting place. So we do this, and then you can finish it with some figure eights. Figure eights means you're setting in that 8 pattern, and when energy accumulates there, it's not going to get us stuck because the 8s are there moving things out. So I'll do that one. If you know how to self-test, you can go through and test the different wind points. Now I do have a video on clearing the wind points on my YouTube channel. So you can look at all, I'm not going to go through all of them here right now because it's just too many, but you can look at that video. The key would be to test. If it tests weak when you touch it, then it needs clearing, and you can clear those. One in particular that I pay attention to if it's a sleep issue is the bottoms of the feet. The bottoms of the feet act as wind points. And sometimes that we're not releasing well through the bottoms of the feet, which can also affect your grounding. So then you just want to do nice, slow figure eights on the bottoms of your feet. You can also get a spoon and spoon your feet. So you're getting 2 things at once. So wind points can sometimes be the problem. So look at that. Okay, the next one, this is number 4. Neurovasculars. Now, the ones I just mentioned, blowout, connecting heaven and earth, and the wind points are the things I often will do if I'm not able to get to sleep. To me, that's a sign that I've got too much in my field that I need to release something in order to be able to settle down. It's a little different if you're waking up in the middle of the night. So when I wake up in the middle of the night, it's usually because of stress or some sort of underlying emotional situation. And I find this is true for a lot of people. These emotional situations are often under our radar. So we aren't necessarily aware. We might be aware of the situation, but we may not be aware that we're carrying it with us all the time. So those things come up at night. When you go to sleep, that's when they come up. So one thing that I'll do a lot is neurovasculars. I'll hold just the front, the neurovasculars right here on the forehead. There are 2 main neurovascular points directly above the eyes on the prominences of the forehead. I'll just put one hand over both of those and hold that. You can hold this for as long as you'd like. I'll often go to sleep this way, or I'll just hold it for a long time. Now the thing with neurovasculars is we have all of the different neurovasculars associated with the elements, and I also have videos for those on my YouTube channel, so you can look at those. If you think that you know of a certain meridian that's out of balance, definitely use the neurovasculars that are associated with that element. You can also get the neurovascular chart, which is in the energy medicine book, and start working on the specific points for different meridians. And you know, when you're in bed at night and you don't want to wake yourself up too much, neurovasculars are a great way to go because you can just kind of put your hand wherever it's comfortable. You don't have to be really specific. It's okay if you only get one side of your head. You know, you don't have to worry about that stuff. You'll still get something. So you can just kind of feel around and see what feels good and leave your hand there while you go back to sleep, or try to go back to sleep. But you can hold it for a while. And a lot of times when you work with neurovasculars, you're going to get waves of releasing. So that is a favorite of mine. And then the last thing that I do, and this is when, you know, generally I've done the neurovascular, so let's say it's the middle of the night, you wake up in the middle of the night, I've done the neurovasculars and it's not really working for me, then I'll go to doing some EFT. Now, one thing to note, obviously, if you're going to do EFT, you're going to be waking up more. And there's always that debate, you know. We always try not to agitate ourselves. We don't want to turn on the light. We don't want to sit up. We don't want to do too much because we don't want to wake up more. You can stay in that state for a long time, right? You can get stuck in that trying not to wake up, but I'm already awake state. If you're doing lots of different energy things, you wouldn't want to do any tapping in the middle of the night on the body unless you're ready to wake up, because tapping is going to really move things and it can definitely wake you up. Generally anything soothing, you could hold your heart. You could do some cross patterning, but slow and soothing would be generally the way to go if you're trying to just stay in that nice, quiet state. And know, again, there are so many different situations that can be going on. You need to know really what's happening with you. But if you have reactivity going in your system and you start doing all these things in the middle of the night, you can get more agitated. That's just something to keep in mind. But generally, you would know about that before you go to bed. So EFT. I can't go through a full EFT demo right now, but that is something that I'm planning to make. So to make a resource for you all. So EFT, a lot of people already know, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about it for those of you who do know how to use EFT. And then there are a ton of videos out there. If you don't, you want to just go look at something, you know, feel free. I like to use Gary Craig's approach, which is also David Feinstein's approach, going through all of the points. And the reason for that is that, you know, I know the significance of all of the points and each one is important. And so I don't do the quickie versions of EFT because I don't really feel like they're that effective. That's just my opinion. So when I'm doing EFT in bed in the middle of the night, here's how I approach it. You don't even have to start with a setup phrase. You can do a setup phrase if you want. I always do my setup phrase here at the K27s. And if I do a setup phrase, it's not going to be, well, sometimes and very rarely it would be, I can't get to sleep. Because that is not addressing the underlying problem, right? So if you are lying awake in the middle of the night, you want to address the things that are going through your head. You want to address the last dream you just had because there's probably some emotional content in there that's connected. So you want to start with you could start with a setup phrase, even though I'm restless, my body can't settle, and I have this feeling of X. I deeply and completely accept myself. Or even though I keep thinking about that situation with so-and-so, I deeply and completely accept myself. Or even though I'm worried about this presentation and I can't stop thinking about it, or I'm worried about this thing or that thing. Worry is huge, right? In the middle of the night. Always comes up in the middle of the night. So that's where you want to start. And then you go through your points, all of the points, and you want to think about the scenario. So don't worry about getting it right, you know, with setting up your phrase and exactly what you're saying on the points. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you just let it flow. So you want to tap the points. You can focus on emotions. Oh, this thing that happened today. anything at all that comes to mind that's going through your head, tap on it. Because if there's more underlying emotion there that you haven't been aware of, it will come to the surface as you're tapping. You tap, this person, I get so angry. That's another one. Anger will really agitate you at night. I'm so angry at so-and-so and what they did or how they've been behaving, blah, 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 whatever it might be. Tap, because as you're getting into it, you're gonna really bring it up, and that means you're releasing, right? So I go through the hand, all the fingers, always skip the ring finger, go to the pinky, the outside of the pinky. I do the outside of the hand, karate chop, and I do the back of the hand, triple warmer point. I do all of those, I do both hands. So what I find is that if you do a good round of EFT, meaning a good 30 to 45 minutes, you will get back to sleep. That it's pretty much guaranteed, at least for me. It's pretty much guaranteed. Now that's because if I wake up in the middle of the night, it's because I'm either stressed about something, or I'm worried about something, or I'm angry about something, or whatever it might be, but it's emotional. So if I work on that emotion, it's like, it can be almost sort of exhausting, right, to do EFT at all. And then but it's a good tired because it's all this stuff coming out. And then your body can go, oh, now I can relax. And usually you're exhausted and you go back to sleep. So that is it. Those are my 5 top tips for getting back to sleep and for getting to sleep if you're having trouble.